If you're a listener of From the Mouths of Madness podcast, I can only assume that you're also a diehard fan of horror movies like myself. My name is Matt Balea, and I own a company called To Die For. We make custom horror-inspired designs for shirts and much more. From original to exclusive content, we can get you whatever it is your dark heart might desire. Check us out at www.todieforshop.com. That's the number 2, die, the number 4, shop.com. Enjoy the show.
The views and opinions expressed on From the Mouths of Madness are that of the panel and not of the Geeks Under the Influence Network or their sponsors. Listeners, beware.
Come straight for the Mouths of Madness. I'm Lowdown. With me, as always, is
F.U. Hunter. What's up, you Santa torturing bitches?
fucking A, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we've got some solid Christmas horror movies like Christmas Evil, Krampus, just Killer Santa, Santa Sleigh, Silent Night, Deadly Night. But motherfucker, this movie, holy shit.
I've never seen that extent of a torture Santa scene. Like, it's not just like a minute, like, all right, it takes its time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tonight to talk to us, or with us, about this amazing movie, 2024's Terrifier 3, is returning Matt Balea.
What's going on?
Did I pronounce that right this time?
Well, yeah.
Fucking
you
right.
On the first time?
I feel like I did, and I was like, I asked the same question.
Apartment, Balea.
Fucking
Yep.
right.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Glad to be here, guys.
Fucking right. And first timer, and also, this is our first 4-panel for an On the Chopping Block. We got Tiffany. Hi.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Taylor. And if you want to check out my stuff, you can follow me at Horror Press LLC on Instagram, or you can go to horrorpress.com.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I guess we were talking before the episode. I've been following it for like at least 2 years, and it's mainly your stuff that I see come through Horror Press. I don't really see anybody else doing like the shorts and the reels and stuff. So good shit. Very good shit. Love it. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so
Welcome
much for
to the
having
madness. What do you want to call it? The madness den, the madness something.
I think it was Den of Madness.
It was Den of Madness.
Yeah.
You wanted the Halls of Madness, and I was like,
Halls of Madness.
It's a fucking room.
Well, just because the Halls of Justice.
Yeah, but they have halls.
Right.
They have halls in the Halls of Justice.
But you can hear that voice. Meanwhile, in the Halls of Madness, the Madness Boys are coming up with another episode. Like,
now we need to get like a prepubescent teenager. It's like, meanwhile, in the Den of Madness.
yeah.
No, but we are here to talk about all things Terrifier 3, and I know it's hopefully no one's burnt out, because by the time, when this is dropping, it is because F.U. Hunter and I are a big fan of like not drowning in the pool with everyone that's really doing nothing but releasing Terrifier 3 shit. Like, you just get lost in the sauce at that point.
Absolutely.
Right? And I'd rather delay putting out the episode for a few weeks, so maybe more people will be like, okay, I haven't listened to anything about Terrifier 3, and I've seen it maybe one more time. Let me listen to something new now, right? So,
I mean, it also kind of just took on its own, like, with being the number one movie, unseating Joker that first weekend. People that had never heard of Terrifier, it's hard to ignore when it's the number one movie in the nation.
you can't.
And it's unrated, mind you. So, like, I have to look back to see when that's ever happened.
Well, now it's number 1 on IMDb, so technically number 1 movie in the world, right?
Yeah, it's number 1 on IMDb, and all 3 films are in the top 10 on IMDb. All 3 Terrifiers.
Wow.
Terrifier, the first one is number 10. I think it goes 3, 2, 1 in order from first to 10. At least what Damien posted, I think I saw last night. Damien posted something about that. I'm like, that's fucking insane.
Which is just crazy that, like, right before Terrifier 2 came out, we were at Mad Monster. They're both there, and, they're not really sure yet how they're going to release Terrifier 2. And all it took was some people throwing up in a theater and it getting posted on social media to just make it blow the fuck up.
100%.
I feel like it was set to blow up anyway. I think that Art the Clown had already been building as a horror icon online. And so I think, even though it's attributed to, somebody passing out or whatever, I think that Terrifier 2 was set to have success anyway.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think Art did, you can see this. There was a following. There was a constant like murmur, online, but it had to grow, right? And then the pandemic, you luckily didn't. It might have actually increased it because it could have had the opposite effect where it made it die. But people being home more, they were, especially horror lovers, they were probably just searching the fucking corners of the fucking streaming sites like, oh, that guy looks creepy. Fuck, Terrifier. Let me watch that. And that just definitely helped too.
I mean, there was a big cult following, and that's where it got the theatrical release. But the theatrical release was originally just for like a couple nights, and those did so well. Then it's like, all right, put it in for a week. But that was not planned in any way.
Yeah,
like,
and another week, and another week.
And then, and then literally to see like almost every theater opening Terrifier 3, where like my theater was one of maybe 3 in town that showed Terrifier 2 when it originally opened. Like,
that's true. Yeah, and Matt, you and I met at a re-showing.
We met at the re-release. Yeah.
Re-release at fucking right. It's Terrifier, bringing everyone together.
Posters, yeah,
that's right. That's what. Yeah, I was like, fuck yeah, dropping off the posters, dude. Okay, I thought I was thinking about getting that sign when in the line, and then he had copies of that up there, and I was like, oh, because they probably didn't have a lot of people come back out for the re-release.
No, they
not
didn't.
like talking about, right?
No, definitely not.
So you probably had a lot of leftovers.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I still have like maybe 20.
Yeah, and that's like a year of giving them out.
We saw Savini's table. He had those posters because he makes that brief cameo of the witness
I
at
love
the
that
mall.
so much. I love that so much. Just more of him, please.
But yeah, no, that was. I mean, so it just this movie's taken on such a huge following, and what's nice is it's not just like word of mouth. It's actually good. People aren't coming out going, "Oh, the movie sucks," but there's some cool shit. Like people are actually enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
So
people enjoying the movie, and it's nice to see. And Damien references this at the Movieland showing. So because we had a showing at Movieland when he was here for Nightmare Weekend, where he showed up and did a little intro and watched the opening scene with us. And he announced, because it had happened that day when it became #1 in America. And so, of course, it was awesome just being in the crowd and everyone just, fuck yeah, woo, and celebrate it. And, being able to celebrate it with him and his, one of his on-site makeup artists, because, Damien kind of passed the torch on some of that. He, it's still his shit.
I've been charged a lot of shit now. Somebody else can do the makeup.
And then the whole other crew, unfortunately, Damien had to cancel, and Elliot and Lauren couldn't be there, which would have been fucking awesome. They did the one in Miami, and I would have loved to have been there. But which is awesome that you had this Underdog story, an unrated horror film beat out a $200 million Warner Brothers production. I'm like, that is so fucking hard, dude. So hard.
It was kind of surreal being in the theater with the main star of the #1 movie that weekend, just like introducing and being like, yeah, you're about to see the movie that I was in. And it's just kind of surreal. Like,
dude, it was. I mean, he was like literally, someone's like, man, you need to take a selfie, because he was literally right behind me. And I was like, no, just want to watch it. But for me, I had already seen it, so I was really trying to really listen to reactions. And I very rarely do I get to go into a theater where I'm one of the ones that has seen it and other people haven't, and then I get to see like natural raw reactions from people. So that was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say that's kind of exciting is I feel like where Scream took off and then it resurged horror in that way. I'm really hoping that with this movie taking off the way it did and getting so much attention, maybe we're going to get back to some slashers that, are getting the attention and actually going through that, because
I definitely think that we're going to see more special effects, practical special effects.
Fucking right.
Less exorcism movies, more slashers. God damn it. Less Russell Crowe exorcism movies.
He's
God damn it.
And they're going to start pushing beyond that line, too, that they've been scared to cross.
Yeah.
I mean, what I find really interesting right now is Smile 2 announcing after Terrifier's 3 success that they're coming out as an R18 film. And I've never heard of that rating before. NC-17 was what I thought came after R. Now they're saying R18 for the excessive gore and all that. And it's like they caught on pretty quick, I think.
They fucking created a new Terrifier 3 created a new rating on the rating scale.
Again, like you don't have a movie that's unrated or
it's unheard of.
To be the #1 movie, and they didn't hold back.
No.
You watch it, and there's no cut away at the scene. They go close up on the scene.
Yeah.
I beg to differ. Are we keeping this spoiler free?
Oh, no.
No.
Those first 5 minutes, I braced myself for something way more intense. I had watched the interview where it was like, Hollywood wouldn't show this. And I know, like, we get the kind of, like, bashing of the head. It's kind of implied. You don't actually see it, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I expected so much more from that.
And I get what you're saying. 100% I do, because I had heard that too, and me going in, what I'm used to watching, and I see it. The thing was, and Damien said it, and I've only watched one interview before recording this, because I didn't want any kind of like influence on anything I'm going to say, right? I was like, especially with Easter egg stuff, if I saw that in a tagline, I was like, no, I want to see if I caught it. And I'm going to go see it again for these theaters. So like, I like to catch those if I can. Just a little game, right? Anyway, he said that when they sat down, the studios came to him for Terrifier 3 after the success of Terrifier 2. So he's sitting down with like studio execs, and if they had allowed them to produce it, he wouldn't have been able to film it. So technically, they're saying that it's right. They couldn't have filmed those first 10 minutes if they went with the studios. So that's why their budget was only, I mean, it was still high, but it was still only $2 million. They would have gotten more from studios, but the studios were just neutering the fuck out of everything.
$2 million is nothing these days.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, compared to what the first two were made for.
Yeah.
You know?
But I'm saying $2 million, it's already done 40 plus.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess what I'm saying is the studios didn't want to cross the lines. And in order to get the studio, that level of studio money, they would have had to sacrifice the franchise and what Terrifier is. So I think that's why they say like the scene Hollywood didn't want to film, because they didn't get the backing of Hollywood because they refused to neuter the movie. So
I could see the mall scene definitely being one that Hollywood wouldn't want to go
blowing
near.
up kids? Nah, they're fine with that. What? Yeah, that's so fucked up.
I mean, you still
dude.
show parts of the kids after the fact. You just don't see the kid blowing up, you know?
Instead of just shooting them with a Tommy gun, they're just blowing them up with a homemade bomb. Fucking A, dude.
I did want to piggyback off what you were saying with the beginning of the movie, the first 10 minutes. And this is constructive criticism, because we already know what this movie's done as far as for the community and the culture of horror. It's fucking amazing.
100%.
But the one thing that I am craving from this franchise is to see the story come together.
Yes.
Your practical effects are through the roof. It looks amazing. Art the Clown he's an icon. The character is fantastic. But
Absolutely.
I expected, based on what I heard from Damien prior to Terrifier 3 dropping, that we'd be seeing these answers from Terrifier 2 that we had all these questions for. And it's like, they acknowledged our questions in the movie, acknowledged a lot of our questions, but nothing that I felt was really directly answered, which now we're leading into 4, which is fine, but I just want to see some more clarity on what's even happening in general,
I slightly disagree with nothing being answered. And I've rewatched 2 since then, which I actually got a greater appreciation for. So my ranking of Terrifier films is 1, 3, 2. 3 is just, to me, it flows so much better than 2. Like 2 felt a little clunky at times, setting up the premise for everything with the sword and her dad and the backstory there. Like the way they handled that in 3, I think was, especially with the vision scene where she's handing him the picture. I think finally understand, like 3 helped me understand who the fuck the pale girl was. I know it was a demon, but I don't know what the fuck it was. 3, realizing that the demon moved into Victoria, I was like, oh, that was the whole point of the fucking, like it made 2 make so much more sense to me. And that's what Damien told me he would do. Like when he asked me, it was at a Hunt Valley Monster Mania in May last year, he asked, everyone was kind of hanging out at the bars, so he's asked me, did you see the Terrifier 2? And I was like, yeah, I fucking loved it. And he was like, oh, cool. I was like, I got one thing. I just need some fucking answers, man. I'm hoping to get him in 3. And he's like, you will. And clearly there was not enough time in 3, because 3 is like 20 minutes shorter than 2, because 2's fucking long. Yeah. It's too long for a slasher
2
flick.
2 hours, 18 minutes.
It's too long for a slasher flick, bro. Yeah. Like, and now that's why they greenlit 4 before 3 even dropped, because they know they need to do 4. Now, will we get everything in 4? We might be a 5-parter. My biggest worry is that it's going to fall in the way of the slasher, because it is a slasher movie. And we all know, we were bitching about franchises before this episode, the slashers eventually go to shit.
Go to space, right?
Oh, fuck. Well, dude, right?
I'll hold an exception to that. If he stays on it, then it has a way of staying its course. Most of the time when these franchises
change
go
writers,
to shit,
you change directors.
you're changing. I mean, even Carpenter didn't want to do Halloween 2.
No, that's why
and said, I'll write you a script in 2 days and whatever. He was just going through the motions. Obviously, this is Damon's baby. He's not going to just say, fuck it.
Yeah.
He's going to be behind the scenes. Now, you come to find out that part 5 is somebody else. Yeah, watch out. That's where most
he specifically
franchises
said
go.
in the interview, he I think it's him and Phil Falcone own the IP. So they own the IP. As long as he never as long as he owns the majority of the IP, and then as long as he never sells that, then no one can fuck with it. And he needs to be very mindful, at least in my opinion, to keep that.
Because I mean, I'll hold it to comparison with Hatchet. All 4 Hatchet movies, same creative team, no change in director or anybody like that, and they all feel
they're
the same.
all fun fucking movies. That's like the one exactly. It's 4 movies that I rewatch pretty frequently because they're all just enjoyable for different reasons and different levels of the, of the money that they had to make it, right?
Yeah, because it would be really fun to see if they can stay consistent on that basis. Let's say if there's a Terrifier 5, even a 6, but if Damien does stay on it and stay the course with this story he's telling, it would be really cool to see this story grow through multiple movies and not pivot into different directions like they've done with other franchises.
Because speaking of the story, Terrifier 3 to me feels like a holiday special. We didn't get a whole lot of new information, I think, because, okay, let's take the little pale girl, for example, right? We kind of got this thing that the demon can go into different people. Mm-hmm. But Victoria talked, and the little pale girl never did, except for when she mimicked Jonathan's voice, right? And so I still have questions.
Maybe that was just an easier way to connect with art, like.
But there are still questions, and I love the fucking fact Victoria talk. Can I say one of my favorite fucking scenes is when they're going back to the kill shop and she's got the horn. And she just like honks in his ear, and he just has this annoyance look like, dude, that shit was hilarious.
To me, her contribution is literally he's killing the shit out of the dude, pulling his fucking face off.
No.
And she is pleasuring herself with the fucking shards of glass.
It's a glass
and that
bang.
combo deal of just, oh shit. It's
terrible.
What the fuck? Oh shit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I can't believe we don't hear more about that scene.
Yeah.
I understand the shower scene. It's bloody, and then chainsaw through the ass. I get it.
Ass and
But
taint,
oh
yes.
my god, man, that is the only scene that made me legitimately cringe.
Yeah,
That
that was fucking horrible.
For me, the grinding like metal sound that went along with it took me right out of it. Okay,
really?
I saw the terrible like BME Pain Olympic videos. Okay, that metal sound is not accurate at all. So
She would know, guys. I mean, she would be the one to know.
Fair. But yeah, so all right, well,
Can we go back to the fucking shower scene?
No.
Holy shit.
So some Easter eggs. We're talking about the attic scene. Clearly, Black Christmas-esque, right? You got a rocking chair. Mm-hmm. You're in an attic. That's fucking Black Christmas. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys noticed the window. You guys remember the window? What the window looked like that he's in front of?
even the stillness in the seat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean like the actual window. The window's not the same from Black Christmas. The window's from another horror movie.
What, Amityville? Yep. Goddamn, you just fucking say it. You got tongue-tied.
Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
It's the window from Amityville Horror.
You're right. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm looking at the scene. I'm like, it's gotta be. It's fucking gotta be. And like, hopefully, now that we're recording, as I watch, because I plan on just unloading on all these. I've been saving to watch later, right?
Well, I was about to say, because you watched it a second time, so you picked up on a lot more of these Easter eggs too. So that's
and
cool.
I want to, I've been saving these interviews as they've been coming out because I want someone to ask him. Like I've got like a list of things I would ask him, and like I want. Since I'm not going to get an interview with him, I want someone to ask these fucking questions.
Maybe we'll run into the bar again,
Yeah, maybe. But it's like, dude, that's Amityville window. It's Amityville window.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like it's
I can
gotta be. Yeah.
Good eye. Definitely.
So, but yeah, with the Black Christmas, I think it's the same rocking chair, or as close as they could get to it.
Which brings me to, do we have any thoughts on why they were on this like 5-year pause?
I don't know.
It's almost like they were just woken up because they got fucked with.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like
why did they go to sleep?
It looked like she tried to kill. She was
powered down.
She was killing herself. Like she was, opening her veins up. Like, and maybe that someone's presence had to awaken her. Until then, she's quote unquote dead, and that shuts him down for the time being.
It was like in that. I know what you're talking about because I thought about it. It felt like her humanity was like just like barely trying to get out at that point, and it was like that was her chance to really just escape, but she obviously
her resurrection in the bathtub of shit and
dude.
blood.
Okay. I
I knew that was gonna get a reaction.
I thought the bathroom was bad in Terrifier 2. There was like where they had to lay on the floor a couple times, but like getting in that water in that movie, like a little vomit came up. Like I do not like.
There's some
that
moments
shit's foul,
where
dude.
the Foley work is very impressive, and one of them is when the hand comes out and you just hear the slurp. like chili.
So you're okay with just like if you would just hop in a bathtub full of rotted shit?
Personally, no.
Okay, I'm just saying. Like,
I want to meet I don't, but I do want to meet the person that would say yes to that.
I don't, but
I just always appreciated like something like Human Centipede 2, where it's in black and white, so you don't know what's blood and what's shit.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
this one,
you know, it's shit and rotted meat
and
like,
the sound work with it, just yeah.
It's a Terrifier movie. There was going to be shit somewhere.
yeah.
I knew to expect it.
And like I think about that all the time. Like I rewatched Terrifier earlier today, and every time it's like as everything's happening, there's also shit on his hands. Like the whole movie.
When he's grabbing people, like,
Shit on his hands. It's like, oh,
I'm dying and I smell like shit.
And I'm disgusted.
When you put their hands in their mouths sometimes, dude, like, oh.
I mean, it's all black around his mouth, so.
Dude.
It's not about the kill. It's the hygiene that's really getting.
Dude, that does fuck with me. Like, there's no reason to be fucking dirty. There's no goddamn reason to be dirty.
Please, sir, wash your hands before you use that hacksaw on my vagina.
You can wash your ass with some Dawn dish soap. Okay, you're good.
Gets the grease off good, man.
So you have that backup thing of sanitizer. Someone's going to ask you, like, if you're going to kill me, please, just do your hands
No,
first.
sanitizer's bullshit. That I don't believe me.
Art
Hey,
the,
Wash your
Clown,
hands.
some dial.
Art the Clown will take his costume to the laundromat, but he will not wash his hands.
Thank you. I was waiting right there.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking took it to the laundromat, and then the pale girl just shit all over herself.
Best laundry
kind
mat
of
in town too.
How many Clorox pens does he carry with him? Because at the end of the movie, when he gets on the bus, perfect job. Unless he had a spare costume, there is barely
No
any
blood.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few specks, but he cleaned the shit out of that.
So, in case you're wondering, the bus driver is Phil Falcone
yeah.
in that. Yeah. One of the producer. The interview. So the interview I listened to was very like not. It was like spoiler for the most part, spoiler free. It might have happened like a day before the release, partly, but he does talk a lot about it. It was on like Sirius, I think Octane or something like that. It's on Sirius XM somewhere.
Yeah, you're right. I remember Octane.
He goes into like Phil does makeup too. Like Phil wanted to learn how to do his art's makeup. He wanted to get
going
all that
with
stuff.
Damien.
So
Yeah.
that's cool. I don't know. That's another Easter egg, though. Sorry, the tangent. There's another Easter egg in that bus scene. The book she's reading, Ninth Circle. So that was
That's right.
That was the first skit on All Hallows Eve. So
And
I'm like,
it's not only the book, but setting up in the bus. Like it's not the bus station as the original, but in the bus station, Art's sitting there staring at her, having that moment. It was a huge callback to the original. That was really cool.
part of me wondered though, is he trying to bring the story that he started with that full circle, and that like is that where he's always wanted to go?
That
You
would-
know?
Man, I just rewatched All Hallows Eve, and that early test art,
Dude.
it's hard to watch because
I know.
it is so fucking basic.
He didn't
it's
even try.
yeah,
I
it's
know.
just like it's
I think
just
he said it was like what 2008 or some shit when
Well,
he did that.
his plan
2007.
wasn't to make art a big thing with that movie. Though. You know, that whole thing, the direction was showing off his practical effects, utilizing the characters from like the hell scene and the demons and all that. And then when it popped off, you know, it was all about, oh, well, art. Everyone was obsessed about what the clown story was, and that's where it kind of led to the first short film.
Yeah. I was going to say the demons from Ninth Circle. Again, another pullback.
Yeah.
In her dream, Sienna's dream, when she turns around, she sees the angel with the demon banging in the anvil, the blacksmith demon. That demon was in Ninth Circle.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah, there's a demon with like when they flashed all the demons in the Ninth Circle, there's a flash to a guy with like a metal helmet on with sharp fucking like fang teeth. And yeah.
Is that the same one in the Ninth Circle? I can't remember the exact scene of the movie, but when the two girls are chained to the pipe or whatever, there's the demon. Is that the same one?
No, so there's a demon that they like when they get to where you have all the minions and then the Satan's still getting ready to unrobe. Like they do a flash of all the demons that are kind of holding her.
Okay.
One of the things back there was like the demon blacksmith from her dream in 3.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, this all kind of brings me to Damien Leone had said in an interview before that like none of it's connected. You know, none of the beginning stuff is canon, right? And he's also said that Sienna's dad is not Art the Clown. And I'm just wondering if we're being gaslit at this point because now with the fun Easter eggs at the end, and I didn't know that was the reference. So
I'm assuming if it's not the reference, he just reused stuff because that I swear like. We can when we go out there. I can fast forward to the spot, and you guys tell me. We'll do that after we get them recording if you don't mind. I'm just. I swear it's the same fucking character, dude. I saw that, and I'm like, that guy looks fucking familiar. I watched All Hallows Eve after I saw Terrifier 3 the first time. I'm like, that fucking right. Now the angels knew,
Yeah.
but I did find out that that's a movable mask. That's not CGI. That's her. Like there's a video going around with how they put the mask on her,
watched that.
and it's fully movable. Dude,
It's really
that's fucking
just
rad.
Before they finished, it was creepy looking.
Yeah.
I wonder if that ties into the Art and Sienna lore, because we have this like ultimate evil, ultimate good kind of thing building here. And what I was kind of getting to earlier, I was wondering if their pause for the 5 years is because Sienna was gone. So what if their power supply was kind of cut off, assuming.
Doesn't Victoria mention something about that when she has Sienna tied up about like the like whenever there's the when one thing's born, we have to have the opposite. So when the opposite, which would be Sienna, started being active again and got close to them, that enacted the 100% pure evil. Remember, because
she has a hard on to get into take over her body. So specifically,
she wants to destroy. That's the ultimate goal of the devil, is to destroy all good. And Sienna is supposed to be the 100% good. So
I am again going to piggyback on what you just said, because you just reminded me of something, and I just thought of this. So that scene with the demon, he's building the sword, and then the nuns behind him. The Clown Cafe, one of the most random parts of that scene to me is the nun with the homeless man. Feed this man, feed this man.
Yeah.
Is that a callback to that scene from the Clown Cafe being the nun? Could that all correlate itself together, you think?
ah, fuck, man.
I just like,
Damn.
once when you said that connection with Sienna, I was like, the Clown Cafe, because I always think about the Clown Cafe when I think Terrifier. That's the first thing my mind goes to.
Yeah.
And that's the only part of that scene that I really can't piece together is that nun, that homeless. But then in T3, we got the nun, and maybe there's a little connection there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
God damn it. Damien.
I do appreciate when they're in the mall, the Muzak version of the Clown Cafe coming on.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was good. That was good. I was a fan. I was a fan of that.
But just you had to have Muzak version of that.
One thing I'm not oh, sorry, you were gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was a big fan of all of the fun Christmas songs that we got playing.
Oh yeah, you like the new? We have a Terrifier Christmas song now, and that's fucking awesome.
What?
It's a Terrifier Christmas. It's way better than Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh yeah, we've had a whole thing about how some movies they'll just make up Christmas songs. It's like
Because they can't get licenses.
Yay, there's snow and there's presents everywhere, and,
Yeah.
and you just put some shit and put some
Go
music
into
to it.
grandma's.
Yeah.
That's like
There's some
what the
cookies
fuck?
next to the fireplace. Just generic ass. We're not paying shit. We can make up our own fucking songs.
But not only we got a Terrifier Christmas song, and when the first time we hear it, it's Art making a blood angel. Like that is
The Blood
epic
Angel was amazing.
as fuck, dude. You want to dive into what led into the Blood Angel?
Oh yeah, shower scene. To me, it's the gift that kept on giving. It started out fucked up, and he just plays with her, almost like he just leaves him to bleed a little bit, the boyfriend, and then dragging away, and then oh wait, I'm not done with you, and he puts that chainsaw right near the asshole and right up. Oh man.
It wasn't even the asshole. We got a good shot of the ball sack.
Ball
Oh
sack, and
yeah.
There was a dongle
Well, you see,
flopping
he
around
starts
there.
it and then
Yeah.
backs away and then close up ball sack. So he pulled away and you're like, oh, I guess we're not. Oh no, we're seeing it. That's what I was talking about. There's times where he went move away and close up right on the balls.
So I will say that there was tons of interviews prior to the movie releasing about upping the bedroom scene, and I like the bedroom scene. I think that's the best one.
I will agree with you, and the reason, and this is what I told you too, is that while the shower scene was as brutal as it
fuck,
was,
yeah.
what makes the bedroom scene so much more just horrific to me is Allie stayed alive.
Yes,
through the entire
Yeah, and
so
thank
we
you.
You think
witnessed
she's
her
dead.
agony
When she's
and
like,
pain.
"Mom, what you fuck
Yeah.
go?"
This girl in the shower was done, and
Yeah.
Art just went crazy.
Same thing with Hacksaw.
Yeah.
And that took away from what could have been a way more powerful moment, because she wanted to look into his eyes, and so he had that. But yeah, to take it, up another 2 notches, I think.
That would have been it.
And this was actually based off one of your posts. If he'd have shifted where the big kill happened, we could have actually had an on-screen Elliot Jonathan.
But-
I'm thinking of the actor Elliot Fulham. Yeah. But we could have had a better Jonathan death, because he did confirm that it was an off death kill. I'm like, motherfucker.
not a director's cut coming out
No,
on the Blu-ray
because it was the only time he was at the college, and when Jonathan was in his room, was it during the chainsaw scene, and then that's all we get. So if we'd have gone right from that to there, Jonathan would have had a bullshit kill, because he was right. We're so desensitized from what we just saw with the chainsaws that it wouldn't have been impactful. So
2 points to that. One, a commenter actually pointed out on that video that he had left his glasses on the nightstand or something. So they thought that, maybe he's still alive, which brings me to point 2, which, are we being gaslit by Damian Leone?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if we are, it's smart.
Yeah.
It's like they're going to make up their own theories, so I might as well give them something. And then they're going to feed on that till the next movie comes out, which is actually better than people making up 1,000 different, it's like, no, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then he comes out before he's not. Like, God damn it.
I hope so.
It's like season 3 of Stranger Things. Hooper's dead, right?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I will say this one took a little bit more from part 2, where they injected some more kind of silly humor into it.
Oh, yeah.
Where the whole Santa Claus thing, just Art walking by the window, is that Santa Claus? Just his reaction, and then just pushing the bitches out of the way. They're like, bitches, move. Like, I'm fucking Santa. And just that... We've already seen him kill the shit out of 4 or 5 people, and just like he is a child excited about the Santa Claus,
and or like when he walks in, when he's going into the party, he's just like dancing to the Christmas music. I'm like, oh, this is so much fun, dude. It's so much fun.
I just love how the Santa's like, see, no, this is real. You have to have the beard in order to be a real Santa. Bad thing to say to someone like Art the Clown. You're gonna have to rip this off my face in order to be the real Santa.
I love that scene.
That was my favorite part. I love when we get to see Art the Clown be so, fun and innocent, because it's such a contrast to what we know he really is.
And I think that's where having an actor like David Thornton is the advantage, because he's does the expressions. Like, you can look fucking evil, but to look childlike excited, and then
with all that shit on,
and then revert to, and that scene's perfect, because he's like, excited, all the presents and stuff like that. And literally, he pulls that gun out and goes, bam, right into fuck you, Art.
Dude.
Like that.
Yeah. There's got to at least, there's always
right.
There's always a gun.
And you gotta pop off Clint Howard.
But I love the way that they utilize it. They never, it's always just like, all right, because then there was an actual Art kill right after that with the liquid nitrogen, right? So the guns never, I'm sorry, the shotgun in part 2 was because it was a fucking big kill.
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes.
That one was so under talked about.
Right?
You always hear about the bedroom scene.
But dude, he's just like
straight to the face.
He's just having a blast, just stuffing fucking mashed potatoes in his mom's crater face. Fuck, dude. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. You're right. There are a lot of other scenes throughout all 3 of these films that I don't think are, and there's going to be things with 3. We're going to hear about the shower scene, but then we're not going to hear about the glass shard. Come on. Yeah. Dude, what the fuck? Or great. Just a scene that fucked me up with Sienna, grabbed the blade and gave it to, what's the little girl's name? I'm brain farting.
Gabby.
Yep.
So, I'm just, having cut my hand with, work tools and stuff, I'm just like, ow! Fuck no.
And that's without being hit with a sledgehammer.
Exactly. Oh, that scene's all. Oh, fuck me. That looks so painful.
So my son Parker, I have broken bones popping out. Steven's got eyes. My son Parker has things happening to fingers. This movie was like the ultimate of fingers getting cut off or just hammered. Like at the end of the movie when she's tied up, and keeps hammering, and it kept showing it. And and he watched it again with me the second time, and he knew it was coming up, and I was like, no, you're watching this. Don't turn away. Just watch the fingers get broken.
And how about just the consistent pops on the back of Sienna's
Oh,
head?
just fucking with her.
That shit, I was dying. I'm dying. I'm just like this. I can't explain how much joy. There's things that he just kept fighting, and they're not light.
No.
Bam. And again, I'm brain farting on the actress's name, but Victoria, when she's like, you want the Gabby Christmas present thing, and she's like, sure, which one's yours? And he's like, the one in the back. And her delivery of the lines in that last bit of the movie are fucking comical. They're comedic gold when she's like, angels, of course. It's just, and I know they had to do octave shifts and pitch shifts to her voice to make her sound like a demon, but that's her delivery. Right, and the way she talks during that whole final scene it's fucking hysterical to me. Yeah, because she's just she goes from being so fucking evil and sinister to literally more 70% of the time being jovial and just fucking with her. Right,
and if we were worried that he was going to find something to whip somebody with, he didn't have his usual, but intestines will work. I mean, that's still you whip the shit out of somebody with intestines.
There's always a whip scene.
Yeah, there has to be a whip scene.
Saw X got creative with the intestines too. So I love seeing all these intestines for rope. We should see it more often.
Oh, can we make it a thing in horror movies where you have to bite through the intestinal tract? Because that was fucking gnarly.
Oh.
Fuck yeah, Sienna.
Yeah.
No final girl's ever done that before.
Also having her face in the
that was hysterical. I was laughing my ass off too.
Yeah.
That was funny as fuck.
Comes out and it's that brownish
Dude,
blood.
oh, dude. Yeah. But no, like I can't think of another final girl that had to chew through an intestinal tract.
That's commitment.
That's what's fucking awesome. Badass. So Sienna's Lauren Rivera fucking
Good for her.
kicks ass.
And
man.
I hope I feel bad because I can't think of her name either, but who plays Victoria, I hope she gets some recognition as well, because I mean, just thinking about her role in the original Terrifier,
all three.
There's no way she would think she'd be doing this right now.
Exactly,
that's insane. That's really cool.
Especially when I go back and like I said, I always once I saw Terrifier, it became a Halloween staple. But now we keep adding to that, right? But like rewatching it today, it's like fuck, man. Like you see her going to save her sister, and you just like never think where it's going to go to this now. But you see the evolution of the makeup.
Yeah,
which it was good. It was good and fucked up in the first one, but the way she looks in 3 is fucking man.
Absolutely. But then we get the mime costume for her monologue.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a big speech while she's wearing the mime costume, which I don't appreciate.
I think they were just I don't know. I like the mime costume, the crown of thorns. That was fucking. I thought that was cool.
It was really cool.
The crown of thorns was a nice touch. Yeah, let's talk about like I mean, again, Damien wrote it like it's always been described as like the devil's going to do the 180 and try to discredit everything good or Christ-like or God-like, right? Yeah. And that's what the devil makes a mockery of it, and like that's what her character was, and I think he really just nailed the writing and the props and the certain setups with her character.
I'm realizing how many fucking crazy ass kills where we're how long into this and we haven't brought up where there's a tube shoved down someone's throat with fucking.
That's the one that fucked with Damien.
I know.
I mean, David. Sorry. That's
but I'm saying we've gone this far, and like that's like any other horror movie that would probably just cover anything. And we haven't brought it up yet, but that's fucking insane, man.
And the rats and the thing.
They cut it out afterwards. God damn.
But
I loved watching the tube go in. I thought that was fucking gnarly, like insanely brutal, right?
Yes.
But then I was kind of disappointed they cut the rats out so fast. I felt like they didn't even need the tube to go to that point in her throat.
When they eat their way out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured they would have just tried to like go down. That was the point, was come out the gut.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
So,
Out another hole or something.
Yeah, something, yeah. But like that seems more, Terrifier-esque.
Yeah.
Like that's how desensitized fucking assholes we are. We're like, it could have
what
been
are we
worse. It could have been
complaining
worse.
for?
Like,
What the hell?
No, I literally, that is not a complaint. I have literally zero complaints. It's just like, what it's like.
It's a group session now.
Yeah,
like,
right,
which we did fucked up. It wasn't as hardcore. Like, no.
No, this movie was fucking brutal. Like, we're not taking that, and I don't really have any complaints from this movie.
Yeah,
like
now
not like
that
I
we're
did.
now that we're this desensitized, like how can we fuck this up even more than we should? Like,
And
it's
it's desensitized for a moment. It's like giving yourself space in between viewings, or not when I'm watching stuff like it, because it will lose its impact. Like certain things will, and I don't want to lose that. So I specifically I don't watch Terrifier outside of around the holiday season, just because I want to keep it as that that staple.
I will say one thing that I think is really cool with some of these directors is that have done the con circuit is you can tell they're like, hanging out with different people, different celebrities that do these horror cons, and they pop up in these movies. I mean, Clint Howard, Daniel Roebuck, like actors like that, Savini, like just where they're at these cons and like, hey, you want to be my next movie? And you've seen it happen in the Hatchet series. You see it happen in the Terrifier series. I always think that's just really cool, like that they know their roots. Like they bring in these people that don't get as many parts as they used to. Like, hey, like think about how many people saw Clint Howard that opening weekend. Like that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, truth.
I was so excited when I saw Tom Savini in the movie because I knew that he was a huge inspiration for Damien Leone. So that had to be a really full circle moment for him, so
it's very
It had to be. Yeah, I mean, but I feel like any new special effects artist that's it. It's like Savini and Nicotero are like, because Nicotero started, his first film was Day of the Dead. So, I mean, he's been going since the early 80s, right? So,
And it took me a minute to recognize the dad's voice. I was like, the voice sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. Fucking Michael from goddamn.
as soon as I saw him,
It took me a minute, but that voice is exact on. But that,
I mean, he looks the same.
I don't know if he looks the same.
I mean, without the 80s, whatever.
Maybe that's
that
what it
was.
is. Yeah.
But his face, he literally hasn't really aged that much. I mean,
But again,
he has, but it's like his face hasn't changed.
I wouldn't
like
be
some people
surprised
do.
if that's not another connection with the horror cons, because he's been he's been doing cons the last few years. Too.
Yeah, but he's at the Oaks, PA, Monster Mania. Yeah. They got like 7 or 8 people from Terrifier, I think there. I think Roebuck's there too.
Yeah, even Terrifier 2. Felissa Rose being the principal just for that one shot, yeah.
Yep.
They've been doing that.
But yeah, so Terrifier 4, we're going to have tons of cameos. There's no doubt. Because, we're going to get a bigger budget. And like I said, I do agree with you, Hunter. I think as long as, I think we all said that, Damien always has majority shareholder of the IP, then he can tell his story and then it be done. And as long as he owns it, then we'll never make any other more unless he gets rid of it. All right, so I mean, this really wasn't on the chopping block. Like clearly, this is more.
I think we all
enjoyed this fucking
the feature.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a ton of fun. It
Yeah,
is.
I mean,
Art the Clown is always a ton of fun. Like, I know that I will get that. I will say that I think that you get desensitized to this film pretty quickly because of how much is going on. It's like you can't process one before the next one's happening. So I think because there's so much, it makes it easier to watch.
I was gonna say, I think
That's a good
that
point.
Santa scene definitely is a good placement, because again, it gets kind of silly for that moment where you pretty hardcore. There's not a lot of him fucking with people up till that Santa scene.
Yeah.
After that's when he has a little more fun with people and fucking around.
And just to add to that too, and I'm curious to see what y'all think here, because that is my favorite scene as well. It's just so much fun, and just seeing David in his element, just having fun with that character. What do you guys think about a toned down Terrifier eventually? Something that more people can watch to just enjoy the character of Art the Clown who aren't into that gore. Do you think we see that coming down the road, or would you guys even think you want to see that? Like, how do you feel?
That's a hard question.
hard.
Yeah, I'm
Because
sorry, that's a hard question, dude. Like,
the
I'm
whole
like,
reason I got into the series, the whole reason I got it, and I'll be completely honest with you, when the movie first was streaming, there's how many Killer Clown movies are there on streaming sites? I ignored it for the longest time. My son's the one that kept saying, "No, I saw Terrifier. You should check it out." Started picking up, people word of mouth, watched it, and you get to the hacksaw down the middle, and that is what sold me on it. And then I was like, all right, I'm in for this entire movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know if taking the thing that was my big selling point and saying, well, if we just pull that back, you see the hacksaw, but you don't see the results. I don't know if I would have that same excitement.
I would say not just that specific scene. Yeah, I don't know if. I mean, we also have to see depending on where the story goes. Like, because we're basing what got us in was when there was minimal story. Damien was just trying to get a film made with this character and make a good film. And you're right, the hacksaw was definitely, that was like the I'm never turning back moment. But I started appreciating it with the man-o'-lantern and with, like that was an awesome fucking effect, right? And then the way Art just pops up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that scene, I see it vividly, and like, I was like, they're doing they're making smart choices here, right?
I loved the whole build up with the selfies and that whole scene, because we knew it was going to go terribly wrong for them. But he was so pleasant sitting there, so it makes it so much greater. And so,
and then like the shit happens and like all this build up stuff, and then you see the death of the other worker, and like that let me know that there's probably going to be a climax of violence somewhere in the film that's going to be way worse. But like, I let you know immediately what you were going to get as a constant throughout the entire film. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like there needs to be a constant throughout the franchise. So I would say I would watch the first one when they announced it was going to drop down gore, and then make it a turning factor if I go back again to see another one.
I think one of the appeals too is the unpredictability of Art. And
how's he going to do this kill?
When he's sitting on the Santa chair, that first kid comes up, you don't know what's going to happen. If I knew that it was rated, you kind of have an idea that kid's safe.
That's a good point.
Unrated,
That's a really good point.
What's he going to pull out of that bag? The kid's on his lap. And I like that. The first time watching it,
It keeps you on
when
edge.
he sits on a Santa chair and that first kid comes up, and of course the mom's on her fucking phone, you are not sure what is he going to do. Is that first kid to be the first victim? Or
You
what?
don't have no idea because he doesn't
Again,
discriminate.
once you put a rating on there, you go, okay, well, that kid's probably safe.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Because like what I think about when I think about toned down Art is, you remember Deadpool came out with a PG-13 version. There was like a parody of itself, pretty much. And that's why I kind of like...
That was fun.
It's something fun like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not even taken so seriously, but then, you know, do they have the money even to waste doing something like that?
But they
they would probably just cut stuff out, but like with the Deadpool Wolverine, it was different scenes that they put back in, right? So I don't. Did they film that much stuff?
You talking about the Deadpool 2 one that they did, the censored version of?
Yeah,
and they went over top with that, where they bleeped out so much more than just the cuss words, and then they changed scenes just so, like, they went so over the top on the censorship that it made it fun. I would actually like a version of Terrifier where literally, like, he goes cut and then you just cut to someone cutting a sandwich or something like that. Some kind of random thing like that.
That would be
where you're so
fun.
over the top
So much
censoring
That would be
it.
fun.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I think you can get away
let's see how they do it. And then it'd be really cool to see that in. 'Cause I think Damien responded with someone asked him a similar question. I think he responded more with like if they did like an animated Terrifier, that would be good in there because you could, it wouldn't have the same effect drawn than it does when you see the fake blood and the prosthetics and the real meat they have been said to use and shit like that, right? So you could get away with a more friendly version in that respect, I would think, or like I said in the comic respect, right? Like you could.
Yeah, I say keep going with the gore.
I think in the films, I don't know, man.
It's a great point though. When it's unrated, you don't know what to expect.
I like that. Unpredictability.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, exactly. And
because kids used to be safe.
art
in
is
horror
very
movies, for the most
clever.
part.
Art is very clever.
Yes.
I did go into Terrifier 3 bracing myself for like an alley bedroom scene happening to a kid just because of all of the buildup that was happening with everything. And I really did brace myself for that. And it really didn't go there so hard.
When he opens that cabinet in that first scene and there's a little girl, again, what's about to happen? And nothing happens, but you already just saw what he did to everybody else in the family.
Yeah. David was like, oh, she's dead.
Yeah. Someone asked in the Q&A, like, so what happened? He's like, come on. She's dead.
And I just killed the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
But the last thing I'll say about that though is I want to know what the fuck's going on with that family though. Where did that family come from?
Where
Are they going to tie in, or is that just like
I think it was just like old school, like where there's just an intro on his happy little trail, and they just showed it at the beginning versus during the movie.
Just somebody along the way.
Yeah. I think
very unlucky.
because we know one thing we learned is Art's clearly a serial killer of some sort. So and I think what we going back and watching too, what we can ascertain is that what the father was leading to figuring out and him getting visions apparently was like, I think that Terrifier ride is where he took his victims, maybe, or I'm trying to think that.
You talked about that bathroom before, and there was blood in that bathroom long before anybody was ever killed in there.
So
and that brings us to Emily Crane, the newspaper clipping we saw.
Yeah,
and the workers.
Is that where he took the little pale girl, and held her hostage or whatever, right? Like I mean,
the worker is telling the story of like this was the house where there was and he's fucking with them, but who knows if there is a history with that house,
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a couple little nuggets. So I kind of like it because I'm kind of trusting. I have to trust Damien and that he knows where he's taking it, and he knows the way it's expanding is gonna fit.
Yeah.
Right. I've got to trust that.
Tiffany and I were so excited when we got that backstory in the house. We're like, here it comes, and then
I just fucking.
That was amazing. I was like, gotcha, bitch. But all right, I could talk for another probably hour because there's shit we didn't get to as always. I guess the biggest question I would ask before we wrap up is, where do we think Art is now? Like what happened? Because he had kind of like they used some context, give him like dead eyes. Because if she's not dead, she's back in hell. At a minimum, right? But pretty sure she's dead. Victoria's the demon, right? Like,
I think it's 4 is going to be on to the next one, pretty much. I think that demon's going to bounce between a new victim for.
He's just gonna be roaming until he finds a new. He meets up with a new version of her, like kind of like we started Terrifier 1.
He seems lost. He's not like he's like the difference between like 1 and 2. It was the same night. He just going about the same thing. Like he's on the bus. Like I don't know what they did to his eyes, but they made him really like dilated, and he looks like he's not functioning.
He doesn't have the demon with him.
He doesn't have any kind of
Exactly, because I've seen theories that in Terrifier 1, Art is human, right? And then he's resurrected by this evil who can then continuously resurrect him. That's why we see little pale girl roll off with his head.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just his resurrector is gone now.
Okay.
I'm about to throw out something. What if he has visions of setting up this whole thing for the demon resurrection, going after the 2 girls in the first one? The sister shows up, who eventually becomes.
So rewatching
Yeah,
because she falls in the pit, so maybe that's what's going on.
But I'm just saying, like, literally, he has to start the process. So he actually is in that pizza shop for them, knowing that the process will be him going after them, bringing the sister, who he's going to mutilate, that'll eventually be the portal for.
And rewatching the first one.
That's solid.
Rewatching the first one and kind of I was trying to place it into the timeline. Will this work out with 2 and 3? Like, if we're trying to make that come together. When you first see the news article or the interview before the interviewee, which is also the chick from All Hallows Eve, she's the babysitter, get mutilated by Victoria. The Stevie's really staticky and she's twitching and going through a thing. Is that when she's getting possessed? Is that when the demon's taking over?
I think it's based on electronics, too. We know there's a lot of electronics
So is the
involved,
demons taking over then? Because remember, we see the end of the movie at the beginning of the first Terrifier. So is that when the demon takes over? Because really, Terrifier and Terrifier 2 is the same night. So she did that, gets arrested. She's been in the asylum for what, like 24 hours? And then we go into, I don't know.
Unless she died when everything happened to her. Maybe she just didn't make it out and the demon was with her then, because it said, like, oh, in Terrifier 3, I'll destroy your mind like I destroyed this bitch's mind. And since we saw that whole glass cutting herself scene in the bathtub, it makes me feel like she was still in there even then, but she was still fighting it. And I think we saw her lose the fight in this, and with that, I think that it might have just been with her all along, and she had less of or more of a handle on it at the beginning.
The demon kind of just slowly was eroding her. Yeah. Okay. That makes fucking sense, 100%. And because I was trying to debate that scene where she's like, oh, Vicky, no one's gonna fuck you now. Was that Vicky coming out and just trying to make some sort of sick joke about how she looks fucked up now? That the Vicky that was still in there, and not the demon,
that's
right?
That's what I was feeling.
So right. Like that kind of goes with what you're saying. That she's still in there, and it's just less and less of her. And then when she wakes back up, it's full demon.
Yeah.
She's like, no one's gonna fuck you now. Might as well put on the mime costume with ours.
Grab the glass once when it shatters.
Oh, that's the fucking.
That's the best you're gonna get.
Oh, God. All right, folks. That's going to be it. This is extended on. This was an extended on the chopping block, but we can't just talk about and I do love that about the franchise. We can't just talk about one of the films without talking about all the films. And again, that goes to what Phil Evolve was saying, but Hunter specifically pointed out. We have the same writer. He still edits. He still is in charge of so much of the majority of the IP. That I think that's why because again, what other franchise outside of Hatchet do you really go in and reference all the movies every time you talk about one of them?
Yeah. And again, I love Hatchet, but it is not taking on this kind of like pop
I think it was a
culture.
timing thing with Hatchet too.
Yeah.
I think if we had social media for Hatchet, it would be more popular.
If Hatchet were to
movies
come
are
out,
fucking good.
If
They're
Hatchet were
gory
to
as
come out
fuck.
next, like the following year, with the amount of attention now slashers are getting, it probably would do gangbuster business.
Oh yeah, because I mean, if you think of all the effects that and the intricate kills in Hatchet, it's gory.
And
there's
the names too. I mean,
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, there's balls flying through the air. Out of the skin, just like I mean, there's some good stuff in that franchise. If you, I don't know, has everyone? I know you have. Is it? Have you guys?
I've seen it.
Oh.
I've never seen a single Hatchet movie.
All right. Well,
Okay.
now
So
you
I would, and what's funny, as fun as I would say, view it kind of like Terrifier, where like the first one's gonna be more bare bones, and then they just add the lore in 2 and 3, and and then 4 had a bit of a gap between releases. Like 1, 2, and 3 were relatively close together. 4, I think, had like 5 years apart, something like that.
Yeah.
All I know is I heard balls flying out of skin. So I want to.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just like
just one of the kills. So there's a father and son, and they're in front of each other. They're facing Victor Crowley as he comes out of the woods with a giant ass chainsaw and just right up the center, picks them up. So their weight is actually what's helping them fall through.
If you're looking for comparable kills
gore,
the way you are in Terrifier, that series is the way to go.
What's our first kill? Victor Crowley runs out of the house in the first one, grabs the fucking wife's face and just rips her head in half, dude.
Yeah,
it's fucking
gets
gnarly.
The top of her nose to touch the back of her neck. So
it's a good return to form and a more brutal role for Kane Hodder because he plays Victor Crowley in all 4. So so he did Jason 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, please Hollywood, make more slashers now.
So
good slashers.
All right, so that we are going to wrap it up. The two of you, thank you so much, Matt. Tiffany, it was a great blast having you on. So you might recognize Matt's voice from the little ad at the beginning. He is the owner, operator, curator, designer at 2Die4 Shop.
Hell yes, all the above. So I went to Die For. If you guys want any cool horror merch, www.todieforrva.com.
There you go.
Gotta fix that.
Yeah.
But we're doing some official merch with Sid Haig's family, doing a memorabilia launch. So a lot of cool Captain Spaulding stuff on the shop right now. Working with Steve Barton, who's the producer of Terrifier 2 as well, doing some merch for his upcoming autobiography, and then just a lot of cool other shit. So go check it out.
I think you got some stuff with Your Living Dead coming up soon too, don't you?
We do. So actually,
that con will be after this releases.
Yep. So what is that? November 9th and 10th. Actually, Tiff and I both. We're going to be at Memphis Monster Con, hanging out with the cast of Return of the Living Dead.
Fucking A.
Custom designs and merch that we're collaborating with the cast at the convention. That's going to be a fucking blast.
Dude, you're going to have, you're going to have so much fucking fun.
Hell yeah, cannot wait.
Only wish everyone else was still alive to kind of see the resurgence it's gotten and the actual people involved with it taking it on and like, nah, fuck you. We need to get
bringing this shit back.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But no, you're going to have a blast. You guys both are going to have a blast. Tiffany, thank you so much. It was a pleasure. So fun having you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hope you enjoyed this. So this was a cherry pop tonight, folks. We didn't mention that, So I hope you enjoyed and we made it smooth and you had fun. So we talk to you guys again. Embrace the madness.
Join us at GUIPodcast.com.